One of the great things about Kajabi's new page builder update recently is that there are new blocks that can be added to all of your existing and new Kajabi pages. One of the ones that I'm really loving is this course outline block, and that allows you to connect any course that you've already got created and show the content in a lesson by lesson and module basis, which is really helpful if you want to be able to have a quick overview of what is included as your course and just add it in a few clicks. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can update your pages so that you can add this block and how to style and make the block fit with your page and template if you're using one so that it matches and feels like it is a part of the furniture. Firstly, we need to go to our pages and update them. So find a page that you are wanting to use this block on, and if you don't see this update, you should be good to go. But if you are seeing update and click into that, you'll need to make sure that you're on Encore 2.11.0 or above. And this update is saying that it includes the new checkout section and course outline block. Now, one thing to bear in mind, if you are using a template from someone who has coding on their template, there are a few sellers who have coded templates. Just double check with them first before you do that update. All of the Unicorn Advisories templates, that's our templates, are design only, so you can update and you will run into no issues. So we're just going to update the template so that we've got access to that new block on our template. Most of the changes to the builder were kind of aesthetic changes, but this is one of the ones that I really love because it's allowing us to do extra things on the page. So we can now come into this page and add this block anywhere to the page. So first option is you could just add it as a section. So when you come into sections now, you'll see this option here. If we scroll down the page to have a course outline section, which is going to add an entire section. But if you've already got a sales page, you probably just want to add some extra information about it. So we are going to add some information. We're going to add a section in here. So we're going to add it into this pricing section and make it kind of match what we've already got there. So instead of adding a whole section, we're going to add a block, but you can choose whatever you would like to do. You can add it as an entire block, an entire section, or add it to a block to an existing section. So when we're adding it as a block, we are just going to come down here and find course outline and add it in. Now it's going to match some of the information or some of the settings from your template, but pretty high chance you may need to play around with it. First thing that we need to do is choose the actual course itself. Then there are a couple of options. If you have a thumbnail for the course, you can choose this use course settings to be on, and it's going to bring the thumbnail and the name of the course in here. If you don't want to include that, or you want to add a different image, then turn this course settings off and then choose the image that you want to add in here. And then in this custom title, that is where you can put an actual title. And they could call this course outline rather than the name of the course. So if you want to have something where the actual name of the course isn't showing, this is what's going to allow you to customize that. The next is this displayed content. Do you want all content? Or do you want to exclude draft content? So if you want to exclude draft content, depending on the course that you've got, anything that's set to draft just won't show here. But sometimes you may have the course modules and lessons outlined, but you haven't yet added like the actual videos and everything. In that case, maybe you do want to include and do all and include all of that draft content, because it's not like someone can actually click on it and go and sort of see a preview of that module. And it's literally just listing down the names of the modules and the lessons. So there's no risk to including the draft content if you've just got it set up so the name of the lesson is showing. The next option is expanded or not. So if you have all of them expanded, that means every lesson is going to show. I would only do that if it was kind of a short course, mini course, workshop, something like that. Probably no more than a single scroll. In this case, this is probably just on the edge of what I would want showing under all. You can go none, and it's just going to show the modules, and it will kind of you click into them to see it. Another option is you can set it to first module, which kind of makes it a bit clearer that you can click into it and see the different modules and what's included. People will be able to click into all of them. It's just how does the default show when it is on the page. You can choose that lesson count to be on or off, choosing how many lessons are going to show. If the course outline is pretty solid and you're unlikely to change it, maybe you want to have all of that, the lesson count showing. Maybe you don't want people to feel overwhelmed, so you want to turn it off. We have options. You can choose to change the heading font color and the body font color if you want to, depending on how you have got your site set up. It will display as it is in the course content. So for example, on this particular template, most of the headings are in capitals. So if you wanted these to be in capitals, you'd actually need to do that within the course itself in the module. So this is pulling this information from here, but it's applying this as a heading font and these ones here as a body text font. But you can change the color. It's going to pick up the default for the page, but it can be changed. The next is this border radius. So this is the styling of the actual accordion blocks that we can see here. So you could have this rounded or semi-rounded, totally up to you. Again, I'd probably suggest sort of following how your page is set up. So for example, this one's got quite square blocks with thin edges. So we'd want to make this border width a little thinner to match. And maybe to match in with these colors, we might just go and copy the color here. If you've already got your color palette set up, you won't need to do this. It's just I'm doing it on a template, so I don't have the color set up. So I'm going to change this to that brown color. So, you've got a bit of flexibility with what you want. You can also change the color, the background color of this outline module. Depends on the page. This, probably looks okay as it is here. You can also add a border to this actual course outline block as well. Whether you'd want to do that, I'm not sure. I personally think it might be nicer just to leave it so the accordions stand on their own. If you do add that border to the outside, then what I would suggest that you do is add some spacing around that so that the actual the accordions themselves are sort of clearly shown within them. And if you do add a background color, I'll show you what it looks like, just so you know. We might just change this one. I'll make it something really obvious. You can see it's going to change the background like inside that block. So you can play around with that as you want, depending on the page that you're on and the design choices that you want to make for that page. So this is pretty stock standard with the majority of Kajabi, but just know that you've got the settings for the actual each individual accordion and the different modules, as well as for the block itself. So totally up to you whether you want to include that and have that sort of outlined on top of it. So that is basically it. I'm going to show you how to add it onto another page where, let's save that here. We might be adding it onto a section where there's a colored background because different templates will have different layouts. And you might add it in and be like, oh, I don't know if I like how that looks. So I'm just going to show you on a different template where there's not a white background setting, just so you can see some options. So let's come in here to this very brightly colored page, one of the Kajabi templates, so that you can see how you might want to add it in here. So we're going to come down to that pricing block again. And in this case, the pricing block is yellow. So when we add the block into this section, so I should go add block. Course outline. It's going to pick the border color up as the border color kind of standard for the page. So when we actually go and select our course, it's not going to look so good. So some cases it's going to be okay. So we're kind of like, whoa, that's I don't know if I like that. And you can sort of see this. Maybe you're not liking how that looks. So if we want it to really sort of settle against the page, then what we're going to do is we're going to change the border color and make that the background color. We're going to make this a border color black. And then we're going to make these borders match this. So we're going to come into this block here. And we can see that in this block, the border width is 8. So we're going to make sure that these are 8 as well. So it's sort of, I want this one here to be 8. So then we've got that match back to the other blocks on the page. And again, you can add images and other things in here if you want by undoing the use course settings, changing the title, and then actually adding in an image. So it's nice to have options like this, and the settings are exactly the same as I just went through before. You can choose the draft content, all content, first module, all or none, and you can go through and actually see the different ways. Oops, actually all, because I've got draft content set up in here. So you can see the different ways that you can play around with it and set it up on your pages. So it sits nicely on the page and looks like it was always meant to be there. If you've got any questions about adding course outline blocks to your pages, you can add this to your checkout page. There's an option on the new checkout page builder where you can add this block as well. So it might be a great thing to sort of put at the bottom of that checkout page, just as a wee reminder of what's included in the course if you don't have that on the sales page. But you can put it anywhere in Kajabi. Just one other thing, it is going to default to the full 12 column width, but you can play around with this and make it any width that you want, just like you can with any other block in Kajabi. So I look forward to hearing if you like this block, if it's something that you are going to use throughout your Kajabi site. I think it's a really helpful way to outline what is included in the course and names of the lessons so that you can see a quick overview. And it is certainly a lot quicker to add that than manually typing everything into an employee block. So I'm excited to see this change from Kajabi. I would really appreciate it if you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you would subscribe to the channel and like the video, I always feel happy there. It makes me so happy to see that people are enjoying the videos that I do put out for you. Sue from the Unicorn Advisory. See you in the next Kajabi tutorial. Bye-bye.